sun. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins, everybody wins. Vote for peace, vote for love, vote for hope, vote for change. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins, everybody wins. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins, everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can build, place your ex by the rising sun. If you want leaders who can lead properly, place your ex by the rising sun. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins, everybody wins. Vote for peace, vote for love, vote for hope, vote for change. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins, everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can restore hope, place your ex by the rising sun. If you want leaders who lead with love, place your ex by the rising sun. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins, everybody wins. Vote for peace, vote for love, vote for hope, vote for change. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins, everybody wins. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins, everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Vote for peace. Vote for love. Vote for hope. Vote for change. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can restore hope, place your ex by the rising sun. If you want leaders who lead with love, place your ex by the rising sun. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Vote for peace. Vote for love. Vote for hope. Vote for change. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream.
In the fires of hope and prayer.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can build, place your ex by the rising sun. If you want leaders who can lead properly, place your ex by the right.
Good afternoon, Sangre Grande. We will begin this evening's program in 5 minutes. So all of you who are still standing and so on, please take your seats. We will begin in 5 minutes.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can restore hope, place your ex by the rising sun. If you want leaders who lead with love, place your ex by the rising sun. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one
I retired in 2002. When I retired, my pension was $1,000 from NIS. When Mr. Bissessa came into power in 2010, my pension rose to $3,000. Now I'm hearing PNM say, if you have money saved, they could take away your pension. I can't wait to vote UNC again. When UNC wins, senior citizens like myself win.
On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream.
Good evening, my UNC family. Can we all stand for the national anthem, please? Of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare, side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land, we pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Almighty God, most beneficial and merciful, Creator of the universe and embodiment of divine wisdom and light, we come before you with thanksgiving and praise. May your will be done in our nation as it is in the heavens. Please bless our political leader, party officials, activists, and all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Give us the grace to always see good, be good, and do good, and the courage to serve the people. Protect us as we stand against injustice and iniquity, and inspire our endeavors to find the right solutions to the problems that are affecting our fellow citizens. Grant that we may always work together with humility and respect for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of our country.
Good evening, my UNC family. Kumuto Manzalena, Toko Sangre Grande, good evening. Let me welcome you all to this evening UNC campaign meeting right here in Sangre Grande, where the UNC is live and alive. Brothers and sisters, this evening we have a lineup of speakers who will speak to you directly, locally, on issues affecting us right here in the constituencies of Kumuto Manzalena and Toko Sangre Grande. To start off this evening proceedings, opening the baton for us this evening, we have one of the youngest members of the UNC Council at the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, Councillor for Sangre Grande Northwest, Vice Chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, a UNC stalwart in local government. Brothers and sisters, let us put our hands together and welcome Councillor Nasser Hussain.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can deal, place your ex by the rising sun. If you want leaders who can lead properly, place your ex by the rising sun. On election day, vote you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Calvin Sitaram, Councillor for Sangre Grande South, for that warm introduction. UNC family, are you ready? Are you ready? I'm not hearing you. Assalamu alaikum, Sitaram, namaste. Honorable political leader who is listening, I'm sure. UNC candidate for Toko Sangre Grande, Wayne Sturge. I understand he's under the weather. I myself is battling a little sore throat here. UNC candidate for Kumuto Manzanella, Mrs. Shivana Sam, and the next MP for Kumuto Manzanella. And of course, not forgetting Mr. Wayne Sturge, right? Who's gonna give Monroe a good beating this time around? The time is now. The time is now. Deputy political leaders, members of parliament, chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, Mr. Kenwin Phillip, a very hard-working chairman. I am seeing other chairmen who control other corporations also, fellow councillors present, also aldermen and so on. I'm seeing others from various districts and so on. Tonight, when you look around, you will realize this is not an imported crowd, local, pure-bred local. It's not an imported crowd. Toko Sangre Grande, Kumuto Manzanella, are you fed up of this PNM government? Do you want another 5 years of misery, suffering, mismanagement, and corruption? Do you want it? So you all know what you gotta do. As I reflect on mismanagement and corruption, you know, it comes to my mind when looking at the Al Jazeera and all these TV stations. We look at Dubai. Dubai in 1986 had the oil boom from then, just as Trinidad and Tobago. Good? And now they have diversified their economy, and you and I would like to go there. Why? Because they knew how to manage, right? They didn't get involved in any sort of corrupt activities. The head of that state told them like it is, you know? But at the same time, we have our oil boom. This is what happened to us. But this government has squandered our riches on the altar of corruption. Ladies and gentlemen, we have moved away from the 10 days mentality to a one-day mentality. Why do we say that? You have a one-day prime minister, a one-day minister of national security, a one-day Attorney General, yes, who said, I think she did not pass maths. We are now the laughing stock of the Caribbean and the Western Hemisphere. Are you going to take that any longer? Are you going to take it to give these wicked people another 5 years of governance? Billions of dollars has passed through like a dose of salt. Right? We now have, and for the past 10 years, and maybe many years before, because the PNM for years, 40 plus years more than the UNC, and here's the blaming Kamala. Everything is blame Kamala, blame Kamala, blame Kamala. They have mismanaged terribly, right? You know, unemployment, lack of sporting facilities, lack of care and protection of our senior citizens and so on. My brothers and sisters, I stand as a proud member of the United National Congress and very proud of our leader, Mrs. Kamala Bissessa, who will become the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Now I'll get on with this here, because I have been given a short notice and I just jot down some stuff here. So, but I'll deal with it. Locally here, in the UNC-controlled corporation, we have so many woes, so many ills, so many complaints, which eventually reflects on the other UNC-controlled corporation. We are seeing discrimination on release of funds. So the people come back on our councillors, you know, for the basic needs, the basic amenities, you see? And what are the basic amenities? Road, right? Infrastructure, water provision, lighting system, housing, and so on and so forth. And we have felt the brunt of that. We are UNC controlled. But they know when they don't release funds for us, we will be pressured by the people. So it's a psychological effect that they are doing to us. Good? But we're going to change that. I acknowledge the presence of Mr. Wayne Sturge, sir, and the next MP for Toko Sangre Grande. He has been working very, very hard on the ground, right? A very humble fellow, very quiet and reserved, and takes his time when he's speaking to people. So welcome, Mr. Wayne Sturge. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, one of the things I have to touch on is, you know, the lack of sporting facilities. We have the Ojo Road Indoor Facility, which was built by the United National Congress, and through wickedness and spite, they have not actually opened it as yet. Yeah? And this is the sort of government that we have here in Trinidad and Tobago, right? We have so many athletes that we have produced, like Keyshawn Walcott in football. You have Team Elite, Barry and Lena Winter, who have represented Trinidad and Tobago and showed the world where the youths are the ones we have to deal with, that lack of sporting facilities. So we have to make sure that this new administration, which is coming in very shortly in a matter of how much, 13 days, will deal with all these things. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, I want people, right? I want the residents of Wabande, Settlement, Pine Settlement, Valencia, Blake Avenue, the youths especially, right? I want you all, Swan Quarry, to be careful. But, you know, they'll come with bags of money to fool you, like they usually do in every election, whether it's local or general election. They come with bags of money, right? And they'll give you a $500. But I'm telling you all youths, that's an insult to you. Because they're telling you to spend $100 towards water, electricity, lights, to send your children to school. Very insulting. And after that, your mouth dry. Right? Your mouth dry. Nothing. Nothing. The PNM has done nothing. So they are coming now after 10 years. After 10 years, but we are not talking about the 40 years and so where they plundered and so on. After 10 years of mismanagement, corruption and so on, you are doing everything suddenly to fool the people. You see? And I want people to wake up. I want people to wake up. This is not what we're going to tolerate at this time. We're not going to tolerate after the 28th. And I know for a fact that you all are people who read a lot, you listen a lot, and we got to get rid of them. So are you fed up of the PNM? Yes or no? Are you really fed up of the PNM? Thank you. So all you know what all you have to do, right? Vote them out. Vote them out. Because so many things highlighted by the members of parliament, the councillors, the aldermen, highlighted. Bringing forth 10 years of suffering. 10 years, right? And I hope my PNM colleagues are listening. Because they are also afraid to speak out during meetings in council. True, they may be victimized. Right? But for how long can we go like this? People, we know for a fact that come 28th, right? April 28th, we have to remove them once and for all. We have so many problems there, and I can speak also on Sangre Grande Northwest with the water problems, the crime situation, the necessities for electricity, the unemployment situation with the youth. While walking with Mr. Sturge, he was amazed and shocked by the amount of complaints and requests made by these constituents. Good? But I want to tell all these people who are watching all over the world, all over Trinidad and Tobago, Sangre Grande Northwest, Sangre Grande South, the Chairman's area, right? Fishing Pond, Sangre Grande Northwest, Valencia Toco, yeah, Valencia West. Listen, we are going to do better on after April the 28th. You see? And if we don't vote them out, this finger is powerful, you know. And this finger is powerful. This finger has to do the job on April the 28th. You are the ones to change this. You are the ones who have the power. You are the ones must change this government. Right. Now, you know, my wife told me this evening, Nasa, don't say Bodo. But I had to say that before, But the thing is now that you people must be prepared. I can safely say that of all the people in any election, the street captains are the ones who actually win this or any election. And we got to be prepared. We got to be prepared. We must have a machinery in place. You see, with every other thing, the ground folks are the ones who must win this election. So people, I beg you to not to change your mind when on election day and say, well, boy, you're cooking. No, you've got to come out and vote. All right, every single one of you. So now, I have been given a signal there by my colleague, but there are so many pointers I have here, and they always rush me to finish, I mean, oh God, right? You may get on like Anil Roberts. Right. I appreciate also the Khadija Amin, the best. We have some real good-looking soon to be. we have some really beautiful soon-to-be members of parliament, you know. The other side, they had it. Yeah, and beauties with brains. When Kadisha walking through to Nupura, it's traffic jam, you know. But I saw it for myself. And we have another brand new one come up, just Savannah Ram, when she walking through Grande. It's total traffic jam. It's total. So I am saying to you, my people, don't take God out of your thoughts and put back this wicked, corrupted, worst, well, I don't trust the words, you know, government that we ever had. They have plundered this land. They have done everything to us. The oil money has gone through like a dose of salt, you see? And Michael Manley said that, you know, all that money will go through like a dose of salt. You understand? And you see, I'm standing here right now, I'm telling you, and would you believe that I'm 70 years of age on 22nd of February last? So I'm telling this fellas, all you don't call me old man. As long as I get the strength, I will go forward. And the most important thing is to bring back Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa as the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Bado!
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Thank you very much, Councillor and Vice Chairman Nasser Hussain, one of the hardest working councillor in Sangre Grande. Give it up once more for Councillor Nasser Hussain. Brothers and sisters, Sangre Grande, let us remind ourselves and let us pay close attention to April the 28th. On April the 28th, your vote, when you cast your vote on April the 28th, your vote will determine our country for the next 5 years, the next 10 years, and the next 20 years. So the choice is clear. The only choice is to vote for the UNC. Vote for a party with a proven track record in governance, a political leader who has delivered and who is willing to deliver to you, the people of Sangre Grande and the people of Trinidad and Tobago. As we continue in our program this evening, of course, we try to keep it as local as possible, and we want to bring on stage one of our own, another councillor at the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, Councillor for the Electoral District of Vega de Oropuch, hard-working Darrell Mohan.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins.
Good night, everyone, and welcome to another forum like this. It brings back memories to when we were last here, and we did have a good time. Firstly, I want to acknowledge all members of the UNC, and namely our MPs, our candidates, our members of NATEC, you the activists, you the ground troops, you the loyal supporters, the chairman of the corporation, and all others present here tonight. I know that our political leader is listening to us, and we have a positive message to relay to you, the residents, the constituents, the burgesses of the electoral districts of Toko, Sangre Grande, and Komoto Manzlina. I want to start off tonight by talking on a few things that I'm sure that most of you all can identify with. I want to take you back to September 2023, when the UNC contested the local government elections, and we were able to secure the majority in the council at the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. The UNC has never stopped working for the people, and the UNC will never stop working for you, the people. And from 2023 to now, we have reached this critical stage where we are about to embark in a battle in this general election to take over the constituencies of Toko Sangre Grande and maintain Komoto Manzlina. This election is crucial, it is critical, it is important, because whilst we are in control of the regional cooperation, we can only be effective in the delivery of goods and services to all of the burgesses, not only for UNC supporters, but for all of the burgesses and the constituents and the residents of Komoto Manzlina and Toko Sangre Grande. We have been faced with many challenges with regards to the delivery of releases and funding to get things done for you, the people. And as you all are aware, when you have opposing parties in control of the different governments, local government and central government, problems are created. We, the councillors in the UNC, we have been faced with many challenges. We are aware of all the situations that exist. We have hard-working councillors. We are aware of all the bad roads, the potholes that needs to be repaired, the landslips, the box drains issues, the pavings, and all the other things that needs to be addressed. But we face challenges in receiving the timely releases and the funding to get these things done for you, the people, through the cooperation. This election is critical because when you go to the poll and you support the UNC, you put us, your local representative, the councillors on the ground, in a position where we can lobby for you, the people, through our MPs, to get things done for you, to ensure that you have a better standard of living in your various communities. I want to remind you all tonight, and I want to shift the emphasis a little bit, firstly to Toko Sangre Grande. Now you might say, why? My electoral district is unique because of the fact that part of my electoral district lies in Toko Sangre Grande and the other part lies in Komoto Manzlina. The majority is in Komoto Manzlina. Toko Sangre Grande is critical in this election. And I want to remind the listeners out there tonight of the facts that exist. They are open before your eyes. It is evident. It is clear before you every day. Toko Sangre Grande, let us not forget the water issues. Let us not forget the issues with the roads. Let us not forget the issues with the infrastructure, namely the bridges that are in that dilapidated condition, that is in need of urgent repair. Let us not forget the issues with public transportation. Let us not forget the issues with the school in Toko, the Toko Composite School. Let us not forget the issues with the lack of sporting facilities and access to sporting facilities that already exist but are in a poor state. Recently, it was advertised that they're doing some refurbishment work on a pool within the region. But I want to know, how long will it take to change a filter and a pump and to get back the pool running again? The last time I spoke on this pool, I spoke about it being a breeding station for tadpoles and frogs, and that the tadpoles and frogs had more right to water than you, the citizens, especially the squatters. Squatters have right to water as well. Toko Sangre Grande, let us not forget the issues that the squatters face. Let us not forget the issues that the school children face. Let us not forget the issues that parents face when you now have to go and pass a means test to access funding and a grant to purchase books for your children to go to school. Life in Toko Sangre Grande is not the way it used to be back then. Under the UNC, life was easier. Life was much more easygoing. It was much more pleasant. We have seen how things have turned for the worse. And namely, in these 10 years, things have gotten worse. It has not improved in any significant way for you and I, the residents in Toko Sangre Grande. It has not. Things have become difficult, and we need to exercise our power on the 28th of April and get rid of this government that seems to be self-serving and self-centered, only seeking their interests and filling their pockets. Komoto Manzlina, I want to bring to your attention and to remind you of the things that are before your very eyes. Remember the poor road conditions. Remember the land slippages. Remember the failing infrastructures, the bridges, the lack of water. Remember the challenges you face every day in accessing your homes and leaving your communities to go out to work and to come back home. Remember the challenges you face with street lighting. Remember the challenges you face with employment. Remember the challenges you face in plying your trade, those of you who are involved in agriculture. Residents of Komoto Manzlina, whilst we know that traditionally Komoto Manzlina has been a safe seat for the UNC, and it's because you all understand what the UNC does and what they are capable of doing, we acknowledge and we appreciate your support. But tonight we are asking you for even more support. We are asking you to get your neighbors involved, get your sons, your daughters, the new voters involved, encourage them to come out and vote. Why is this critical? You know why it's critical? We want to send a clear message in Komoto Manzlina. We want to increase that margin. We want to get that margin up and send a clear message to the PNM and let them know that we are not fools and we are not second-class citizens in this region. We deserve better. Don't we deserve better? Don't you deserve better? We deserve better. The region of Sangre Grande is noted for being one of the poorest regions in Trinidad and Tobago. You know what is more noteworthy? The fact that the region of Toko Sangre Grande is almost the same size as Tobago. In fact, it has the same population. No, it has more people in Toko Sangre Grande than in Tobago. But it's one of the poorest regions. And we have so much of resources passing through, leaving our region, leaving our constituencies and going out, and we, the people in this region, and we are not benefiting. But I can assure you today that when the UNC gets back in power, things are going to change. Because the UNC is a party that is based on policies that works for the people. Policies that are designed for the people. Policies that are driven and geared towards improving the quality of your life, improving the quality of your health care, policies that are geared towards improving the quality of living, the cost of living, and so on. I want us to bear in mind, if we would look back up to 2015, it was easier to go to the supermarkets and purchase basic food commodities, basic food items. Because at that time, there were a lot of zero-rated products, items on the shelf. When this government came into power, things changed. It was level VAT across the board. And the thing is, back then for me, and for those of you who remember, when you hear VAT long time, you don't think about VAT 19. It was something good when you're taking on a lime, taking a little sip, and you say enjoy yourself. But they brought a type of VAT for us where it has come now to make our lives harder. We as a people must not stand for this. We as a people must get rid of this lying, thieving, pilfering government. And before I go, I want to just lay this proverb for you all to ponder on. There's a proverb that comes from the Bible, and it says that where the righteous rule, a nation prospers, a people prospers. And I'm sure that if I'm to ask the question tonight, are you all prospering? Have you all been prospering for the past 10 years? So then, let us do the maths. If you are not prospering, then we are not under a righteous rule. We are not under a righteous rule. But when the UNC was in power, life was easier, and we will prosper again. So tonight, brothers and sisters, I want to encourage you. Tell your neighbor, tell your uncle, tell your auntie, tell your friends, tell your enemies. Tell them and make it known to them. When UNC win, everybody wins.
When UNC wins, everybody
Thank you very much, Councillor for Vicar the Outputs, Councillor Daryl Mohan. Sangre Grande. Toko Sangre Grande in the house. Toko Sangre Grande in the house. Kumuto Manzalana in the house. Tonight I want to recognize some very important persons in our midst tonight. Persons who usually behind the scenes and who do most of the infrastructure work to enable us to make sure that these meetings are successful. I want to recognize our General Secretary of the United National Congress, General Sec, Mr. Peter Kanai. I want to recognize Ravi Ratiram, Education Officer of the United National Congress. Welcome, Ravi, who is no stranger to Sangre Grande. Brothers and sisters, we have heard from Councillor Mohan. And I want to remind you, people of Sangre Grande, citizens of Sangre Grande, it is under this PNM government, over the last 10 years, we had over 5,000 murders as a country. It is under this PNM government, the refinery was shut down. It was under this PNM government, we saw increase in the electricity bills. Under this PNM government, pension cuts. Under this PNM government, implementation of property tax. Under this PNM government, record high food prices, and the list can go on and on. But at this point, brothers and sisters, I want to recognize the campaign team and the hard-working foot soldiers of the Kumuto Manzalana campaign team. Brothers and sisters, before I introduce our next speaker, I want to tell you all that on nomination day, I heard Roger Monroe speaking about Kumuto Manzalana, and I heard him speaking about where our candidate from, putting him out in UNC business. But I want to tell Roger Monroe tonight that the UNC candidate for Kumuto Manzalana is our first choice candidate. UNC Kumuto Manzalana didn't have no first place candidate, and then when she retired, they had to put a second place candidate. Our candidate for Kumuto Manzalana is our first place candidate, brothers and sisters. So Roger Monroe have more to study about Kumuto Manzalana, because I know to a fact that Wayne Sturge will carry him for a run, and on the night of April 12th, Wayne Sturge will be the next member of parliament for Toko Sangre Grande. Brothers and sisters, as I bring to you our next speaker, I want to introduce to you our candidate and next MP for Kumuto Manzalana, Shivana Sam, a seasoned environmental professional with over 12 years of progressive experience in environmental regulation, compliance monitoring, and risk assessment. Shivana has demonstrated expertise in ensuring environmental compliance across different sectors, inclusive of the oil and gas, construction, and quarrying industries. Academically distinguished, Shivana holds a Master of Science in Occupational and Environmental Safety and a Health and a Bachelor of Science in Biology. Brothers and sisters, let us put our hands together. Kumuto Manzalana, a young lady from the constituency of Kumuto Manzalana, born and bred in Little Cora Road, Kunaripo. Please let us welcome Sangre Grande. Let us welcome Shivana Sam.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Good night, Sangre Grande. Let me acknowledge our honorable leader of the UNC, the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, who I know is tuned in, members of NATEX, Chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, Mr. Kenman Phillip, other councillors, my fellow winning candidates, Mr. Wayne Sturge for Toko Sangre Grande, and Ms. Khadija Amin for St. Augustine. And of course, my wonderful UNC family. Where is Kumoto Manzanella? Is Kumoto Manzanella here? It is an honor and a deep responsibility to stand before all of you here tonight, not just as a political representative, but as one of your own. It gives me such joy to be here in Sangre Grande. For those of you who know me, you know I am a Grande girl to my heart. I love Sangre Grande, and it is my honor to be here before you tonight. Let me take a moment to introduce myself for those of you who may not be familiar with me. I am a third-generation daughter of this community, born and raised in the humble village of Kunuripo, located in Kumoto. This is not just where I come from. This is who I am. I am the daughter of a proud farmer. I am an active member of my village's church. I am a past student who knows all too well the challenge of studying by candlelight and the long, tiring commutes in search of gainful employment. I have lived the struggle, and I have not forgotten it. It is this lived experience, this lifelong connection to our people that best equips me to understand your daily hardships and to work tirelessly towards real, meaningful change for every single resident of Kumoto, Manzanilla, and beyond. Tonight, I want to speak especially to our rural communities, to those who rise early and work hard, who raise children with love, who care for aging relatives with little support, and who continue to hope for a better tomorrow. Because the United National Congress sees you, we hear you, and we stand ready to serve you. So tonight, I will share with you our vision, a vision rooted in experience, driven by compassion, and built on action. From supporting our farmers to protecting our elderly, from empowering our youth to ensuring our children have every opportunity to succeed. This is our plan to restore dignity, pride, and prosperity to our rural communities. Because we all know when the UNC wins, everybody wins. And tonight, I will show you how you will win. We've been walking the communities and we've been meeting with all of the individuals on the ground. And we know that our farmers are the backbone of our rural communities. For too long, our farmers have toiled in the fields with little support, uncertain land tenure, and under threat from crime and neglect. A UNC-led government will transform this reality. Over the last 2 terms, the PNM failed to deliver land titles to thousands of farmers, leaving everyone in limbo. Additionally, they have allowed agricultural support programs to collapse, resulting in an increase in food imports and a decline in local farming. The UNC guarantees land tenure for farmers, giving you the security you need to invest, grow, and thrive. The UNC will strengthen agricultural agencies to assist farmers in expanding into local, regional, and even international markets, bringing more income and opportunity to rural areas. The Predial Larceny Unit will be revitalized with real resources. No more empty talk. We will protect the hard-earned produce of our farmers. Through robust incentives, we will reduce our food import bill and make local agriculture profitable again. Farming won't be a last resort anymore. It will now be a proud, prosperous profession, and that is what we want for our farmers. I've been walking around and I've been meeting the young people who are frustrated. Our youths are jobless. They are forced to migrate to urban centers, breaking apart families and weakening communities. Under the PNM, youth employment rose. Am I right? Youth employment rose, particularly in rural areas. The closure of Petrotrin alone cost over 4,000 direct and indirect jobs. TVET programs have been neglected, and the government has done absolutely nothing to equip youth for the modern digital economy. The UNC will bring back jobs where you live. We will reopen the Petrotrin refinery, creating new employment across South Trinidad and beyond. We are committed to creating 56,000 new jobs. 56,000 new jobs, can you imagine that? Just like we did between 2010 and 2015, when we created the largest number of jobs in any single term, and yet without raising one single new tax. Our education policy ensures that technical vocational training is fully integrated from as early as Form 3, preparing students to graduate with both O-levels and practical CVQs. We will build a full-fledged technical university and partner with the National Training Agency to prepare young people in everything from renewable energy to digital entrepreneurship, even training them to monetize social media platforms as a legitimate career path. The UNC is committed to giving every child a fair start. We believe that a child's future should never be determined by where they live. It should not matter if you are from Matlot, if you are from Kumoto, if you are from Guayco Tamana. You should have the same opportunities as every other child in this country. And that is why our education policy is built on early intervention, access, and equity. The PNM failed to restart the laptop program, leaving children in rural areas behind during the pandemic. Every child between the ages of 4 to 6 under UNC government will undergo universal screening to catch developmental, physical, or emotional issues early and to offer real support. We will provide tablets and laptops to bridge the digital divide. We will set up homework centers and literacy libraries in every community to keep kids engaged, safe, and learning. We are bringing back after-school meals and introducing multivitamins to fight malnutrition, a silent barrier to learning in rural areas. Parents will be supported with training programs, and schools will benefit from parent patrols to strengthen discipline and collaboration. Because we understand here in the rural part of Trinidad that it takes a village to raise a child. Our elders, and I've been met with so much warmth and love in my walks by the elders in our community. They have so much to give, and we pledge our love and our support to them. These are the same men and women who labored in the cane fields, who fetched water with a box cart and walked miles for health care, and they deserve so much better in their golden years. The PNM closed and downsized many rural health services and failed to maintain even basic ambulance response times outside of urban centers. They allowed CDAP to collapse, and the elderly have been left without medicine. That is why the UNC will expand the ambulance service into Central and South Trinidad, creating rural hubs for cleaning, refitting, and dispatch. We will ensure extended hours at healthcare centers and home visits for chronic illnesses. We are building dialysis clinics in all our hospitals. The Cougars Children's Hospital will be fully reopened, serving all ages. Most importantly, we will revamp CDAP, ensuring critical medications are stocked and delivered, especially to rural clinics. We want to rebuild rural pride, community by community. Beyond policy, the UNC government believes in bringing back joy, connection, and hope. And that is so important in our rural communities, and we feel that joy everywhere we go. Over the 2 terms, the PNM dismantled or defunded many community development initiatives. Village councils and mentorship programs were ignored. They have not invested in grassroots support, leaving rural communities without the tools of voice to shape their futures. That is why a UNC government will fund community homework centers in every place of worship. These centers will provide meals, mentorship, and a safe space for children, staffed by volunteer teachers, elders, and community leaders. Through community support councils, each district will have a voice, you will have a plan, and you will have a path forward. Our local government reform will ensure councillors are not just figureheads, but real advocates for development. We will fund peer mediation, free counseling, and parenting workshops to rebuild family values, reduce crime, and reconnect our people. My brothers and sisters, again, before I close, I want to remind you again, and I want you to look at me and know that I am one of your own. I am one of you. I travel the same deplorable roads that you have to travel. I know the fear of sleeping at night and trembling every time you hear your dog bark because you are not sure if it's somebody coming to break into your home. Your children can't play outside in peace because you are scared for their safety. I know. I remember the days when we could sleep at home with our doors open. When my father would leave the door open at night because it was so safe in our community. Crime has crippled our community, and this government has done absolutely nothing in the fight against crime. I have lived the struggle of having to travel for hours for proper health care because rural communities just don't have the resources. I know the sacrifices that parents are making. My parents made that sacrifice for me, just to ensure that their children have the proper education. And still, there are no jobs under this government. Do you think that is fair? Don't you think we deserve better, a better government? I want you to remember, my friends, that this election is not just about who holds office. It is about whether our farmers thrive or fail. It is about whether our children will rise or be left behind. It is about whether our elderly will live with dignity or in neglect. And it is about whether our youths will dream big or disappear in frustration. The UNC is the only party. Our leader, Honorable Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, is the only leader with a clear, costed, compassionate plan for rural communities. Not promises, not mama guy, not last-minute pity, but a real plan forward. We have done it before, and we will do it again. So on April 28th, walk with your neighbors, bring your families, bring your friends, and vote for the UNC. Because when the UNC wins, everybody wins. Thank you very much.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. Brothers and sisters, let's take one moment. Take one moment and reflect. Reflect that if for some reason this PNM should win government, study how the next 5 years is going to be for our children and the future of Trinidad and Tobago. The choice is clear. On April the 28th, by 11 p.m., Kumuto Manzalina will already be in the bag. Toko Sangre Grande will always be counted. And by 11 p.m., we must be singing with one voice, as one people, Kamla Persad Bissassa, next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Brothers and sisters, on behalf of all the people of Kumuto Manzalina, I take this opportunity to thank our honorable political leader and next Prime Minister for giving us and keeping to her word a candidate from Kumuto Manzalina, a daughter of the soil. Brothers and sisters, at this time, I want to recognize members of council at the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, Vice Chairman. We would have heard from him a little while ago, Councillor Nasser Hussain, Councillor for Vega de Opuch, Councillor Darrell Mohan, Councillor for Kumuto Tamana, Councillor Kian Sarup Singh, Councillor for Valencia West, Councillor Neil De Silva, of course our hard-working Alderman Angad Arjun Singh, and Alderman Susan Holder. Brothers and sisters, let us give it up for the hard-working team at the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. At this time, brothers and sisters, our next speaker, I think, needs no introduction. He is the present chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, serving as councillor for the electoral district of Manzalina Fishing Pond since 2016, having been elected 3 times. Former youth affairs officer and elections officer of the Kumuto Manzalina constituency, executive with over 15 years of service of the United National Congress. Brothers and sisters, Sangre Grande, put your hands together and welcome Chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, Chairman Kenwin Phillip.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinidad.
Sangre Grande, I believe we can do better than that. I want the leader to hear from the Philippines what Sangre Grande have to offer. Sangre Grande, make some noise. Is Toko in the house? Toko in the house? Toko Sangre Grande in the house? Kumuto Manzalina in the house? Political leader of the biggest and baddest party in Trinidad and Tobago, the honorable political leader of the United National Congress, and the next Prime Minister, the Honorable Ms. Kamala Persad Bissassa. NATEX members, councillors and aldermen of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, candidate, our very own Ms. Shavana Sam for Kumuto Manzalina, and Mr. Wayne Sturge for Toko Sangre Grande. UNC family, well-wishers, good night, and welcome to Sangre Grande, the heart of the UNC. My friends, when UNC wins, Sangre Grande wins. Toko Sangre Grande, when UNC wins, Sangre Grande wins. My friends, for the past 10 years, the region of Sangre Grande have been suffering under this present PNM government. Since my inception as the chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, we have persons keep coming into the chairman's office and even councillor's office asking for assistance. My friends, for those of you who do not understand, let me explain to you the roles and function of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. We depend on central government for funding. And we can only deliver when central government release funding to the corporation. For the past 2 years, we have been writing to the Ministry of Rural Development on all the different heads they allocate funding on. Now, because the government says the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation will receive how much $1 million, it doesn't mean that we have that funding in the bank account of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. No. Every year we will put forward programs and progress and send to the ministry asking for releases under the different head for us to deliver to you, the people of Toko Sangre Grande. And this wicked, incompetent government keeps stifling the corporation from funding. More so the funding that we use to deliver to you, the people of this region, when it comes to maintenance of roads in the region. We have some of the most deplorable roads you can drive on in this region. And I want to tell the people of Fishing Pond, Kaiwall, Bonaire Road, and all the roads, the Konapo Southern Main Road, that members of council drive on the same road too. We face the same challenges, and we keep writing to the ministry asking for funding so we can do temporary works to these roads on them. My friend, since the beginning of this financial year, we would have put forward proposal to the ministry asking for the releases of only $450,000 they allocate for us to patch roads in the region. And to date, we have not received a red cent from this government. Let me tell you, in local government, the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation is one of the most marginal corporations. And under the leadership of Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessa and the campaign team, for the first time we would have won this corporation consecutively. And the PNM know that is not no marginal seat anymore. It's a safe seat, a safe corporation for the UNC. And they try utmost everything to stifle the regional corporation so the people of Toko, Sangre Grande, and Komoto Manzanana will say that the corporation is not doing nothing for them. But let me break it down to layman terms. If you have a house and your husband is the breadwinner or your wife is the breadwinner and they're not receiving any employment or any funding to maintain that house, you believe they can maintain that house? They have to go and beg. And we as councillors and all the men in corporation, we constantly keep begging for assistance from the Ministry of Works. And they keep telling us no funding is the roadmap in Grande. My friends, this general election is one of the most crucial elections you could ever face. Because for God forbid, this PNM win this election, scrappo smoke we pipe. It have no coming back for Trinidad and Tobago. So we dependent on Toko Sangre Grande, and I'm saying it here. I am on my bended knees to Toko Sangre Grande. Give the corporation and give the people of Trinidad and Tobago a chance to strive under the people's partnership. My friends, we are the most poorest region in Trinidad and Tobago, and we are the most largest. And the allocation we receive in the region is second to none. And I am sure, because I have been hearing workers in the corporation saying that when UNC was in government with the People's Partnership, the funding in the corporation was forthcoming, not under this PNM government, my friend. You have parents suffering, have to choose whether to pay rent or to buy food, because if I pay rent, I can't buy food, and if I buy food, I can't pay rent. I want to tell the people of Toko Sangre Grande, when UNC win, it's not where it is, it's here it is, because the UNC deliver. Hearing the cries from the people of Toko Sangre Grande and Komoto Manzanana, this council would have approved $500,000 for the Christmas season from our unspent balances. And it's only for the Minister of Local Government to sign off on that document. So members of council could give out hampers to the less fortunate in the region. My friends, to date, we are half of this financial year, and we have not received the signature from the Minister of Local Government to deliver to the people of Toko Sangre Grande and Sangre Grande by extension. So I'm saying to you, Toko Sangre Grande, the ball is in your court. You don't have no third party and fourth party here. It's two party, two choice. You have to choose between Stuart Bully Young and Kamala Prasad Bisesa. Toko Sangre Grande, I'm asking you today, who is your choice? Who is your choice, Toko Sangre Grande? My experience with the honorable political leader, and I can say it here tonight, you see all kind of things putting up on social media about African and Indian. I'm saying it here tonight. I came from a family who is traditionally PNM. And I have looked and see you're supporting a party for the past how much decades. And you're supporting this party, and for God's sake, no progress whatsoever. I started as a UNC foot soldier, hanging up stickers and banners throughout the constituency because I believe in the vision of the UNC. I became a councillor in 2016. And in 2023, I became the chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. My friends, I am not no fully East Indian, but I am a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, and I was treated equal in this party called the UNC. And I'm saying to the persons who are undecided today in Toko Sangre Grande, who are on the fence, in my mother's home, there are many mansions. If it was not so, I would not have told you, come home in the house of the rising sun, and I assure you, you will be treated just like anyone else. Sangre Grande, when Sangre Grande win, Toko Sangre Grande win. When Sangre Grande win, the people of Trinidad and Tobago win. I thank you.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Brothers and sisters, what you heard from Chairman Kenwin Phillip is facts. Only facts and more facts. So when UNC win, local government will win. And when UNC win, councillors will be able to deliver more effectively to you, the people of Sangre Grande, and by extension, Trinidad. So the choice is yours. The choice is yours. April the 28th. Let not your heart be troubled. When you go to the polls, the choice is yours, the only choice. Vote for a party with a proven track record in governance. Brothers and sisters, our next speaker is a renowned attorney at law with 26 years of experience in criminal defense practice. He previously served as an opposition senator for the UNC and has a long record of public service. He has held several significant roles, including chairman of the Criminal Injuries Compensation Board. Brothers and sisters, he also served as a member of the National Carnival Commission. Brothers and sisters, the next member of parliament for Toko Sangre Grande, a man who will put Mono to rest. Brothers and sisters, Toko Sangre Grande, let us welcome member of parliament for Toko Sangre Grande come April the 28th. Welcome, attorney at law, Wayne Sturge.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Toko Sangre Grande. Kobuto Manzanella. Greetings from the Most High. As I pray, ladies and gentlemen, Psalm 133. how good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to dwell together in harmony. How good and how pleasant it is in Toko Sangre Grande that we have no racism, that Afro and Indo dwell together in harmony. Give yourself a round of applause. And tell that crazy small pin Chinese that when he come with that racism talk, we have to chase that Chinese out of town. We are all one people, including the Syrian community, the Chinese community, everybody, we are all one. I want to tell you something because I had a conversation with a bonehead PNM supporter this morning. And I had to educate him, and I want to educate you tonight. We are in the age of technology. Your children will tell you, because a lot of us are in the departure lounge. Some of us are in the waving gallery, but our children will live on. And our children, when they will Google it for you and tell you that what separates us, less than 1% of our DNA accounts for our racial difference. Race is not a biological but a social construct. So let me make it easy for you. If you have $100, if you are counting it at $100, race counts for 10 cents out of that $100, not even $1. So what separates us, what makes us different is less than 1%. And now you have the son of a 1% coming to divide us. Tell him, rock so Stuart Young, chase him out of Toko Sangre Grande, chase him out of Trinidad and Tobago. We don't want no racism in Trinidad and Tobago because we are all one. Let the 1% rock so with that. When I started my journey after being selected the candidate in December, when I started my journey, a lot of people were saying that I am not a son of the soil. So I had to go to the Registrar General's department and do a little digging for them. And on nomination day, I had to produce it for them. My grandfather, William Patrick Durham, was born in Cunapo in 1915. His father before him in 1887 in Guayco, Tamana. His grandfather in 1850, Samuel Durham in 1850 in Tamana. We were, my family, my ancestors, are among the original inhabitants of Toko Sangre Grande, living in a shack. They left here in 1925 in search of work in Port of Spain, and now they are stranded in Mokarapu Cemetery. And 100 years later, their descendant, the grandson of Patrick Durham from Cunapo, is now the presumptive candidate for Toko Sangre Grande. Toko Sangre Grande, you are the largest constituency in this country. I did too much singing the other night. The largest constituency in this country. But you are also the poorest constituency in this country. You have one of the highest rates of unemployment in this country. I have seen every nook and cranny in Trinidad and Tobago. You have by far the worst roads in Trinidad and Tobago. But yet you have changed hands only twice. The PNM have ruled Toko Sangre Grande in excess of 75% of its history. And look at where we are. So come April 28, what you're going to do? I'm not hearing you. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever I walk, And whenever I tell the people in a community that I'm going to do something for them, for instance, in Swan Quarry, when I tell the people I'm going to, within 1 month of taking office, I'm going to pave the road. 2 days later, Monroe shows up to pave the road. Everything I do, he has no original ideas. Where there is no vision, the people perish, and Monroe has no vision. He is depending on me to lead the way. I am not your MP, and look, I am getting things done for you. I am getting Monroe to act because he is running scared. Imagine what would happen when I come in. Monroe is a typical PNM, callous and uncaring. I met people in Matla telling me that they could sit down and drink with the MP. I don't drink. But I had to ask them, that is not a boast. Is that a boast that you could sit down and drink with the MP? What are doing for you? What are doing for you? If you had to boast about MP or your MP, you should boast that my MP fixing my roads. Not so? You should boast that my MP giving me water. You should boast that your MP giving you electricity. But they can't boast that Monroe doing anything like that because Monroe has proven himself an abject and spectacular failure. So what you're going to do on April 28th? I hear in your sister. I hear in you. Ladies and gentlemen, when I talked about education, the next day Stuart Young go on a public platform to say the exact same thing I say about education being outdated and anachronistic and archaic in this country, and he plans to change it. What he was doing in the last 10 years, he didn't know that in the last 10 years. What you're going to do on April 28th, I'm not hearing you. This wicked and vindictive 1% of Stuart Young, get rid of him on April 28th. They come in with a manifesto. But I want to ask you to apply some common sense. When they came with the 2015 manifesto, they were selling dreams. And when you look at the dreams, 9 out of the 10 dreams they did not deliver. When you look at the 2020 manifesto, they came again selling dreams, and 9 out of the 10 dreams they sell, they did not deliver. And now in 2025, they're coming to sell you more dreams. What makes you think that they would deliver? Ladies and gentlemen, what you're going to do? And not here, all you sleeping or what? So I have a message from Mr. Monroe in particular, because I already have typed up my manifesto for Toko Sangre Grande. But he is waiting for me to publish it so he could think of something. He could cut and paste like McKellar and come with a manifesto. But he'll be waiting a long wait, because when I unleash my manifesto, he will have no time to respond. So look out for the manifesto to see what we are going to do. Monroe is coming to tell the youths after he heard me in a cottage meeting, because in a cottage meeting I had to tell the youths of Sangre Grande that 10 days and 20 days is not sustainable employment. If you have to depend on the government to tell you when you can get jobs, when you can get a 10 days, if you have to depend on the government to tell you when you can eat and how much you can eat and how good you can eat, then what is that? That is modern day slavery. And that is the kind of dependency the PNM has created in this country. They say that when a good man dies, the good dies with him. But evil men, when they die, their evil lives on, and that is the legacy of Eric Williams. Dependency syndrome. So when he heard in the cottage meeting exactly how I laid out my plans to create sustainable employment for the youths of Sangre Grande, all of a sudden he's saying he has plans for sustainable employment. Why he didn't say that before? Why he didn't do that in the last years, ladies and gentlemen, the last 5 years? What was he doing? Ladies and gentlemen, what they're going to do in Monroe on April 28th? In the last 2 weeks, Mr. Monroe, Mr. Teletubby is on overdrive, trying to do in 2 weeks what he ain't do in 5 years. And then, I hear the plan. I hear the plan from a PNM insider. I get a call last night. And they say that they are going to make Mr. Monroe the Minister of Local Government. Ladies and gentlemen, if Keith Rowley didn't make him a minister in 2015, in 2020, for the whole 5 years, he's not a minister. If Stuart Young, when he reshuffled the cabinet, didn't see it fit to put Mr. Duncy Head Teletubby as a minister, what make you think when after the election he'll put him? That is another gimmick. That is mamagism. So what are you going to do on April 28th? Ladies and gentlemen, as I said it before, there are 52 weeks in a year. When we come into office, I am not going to be a minister. I have no intentions of being minister. Because let me tell you something. To fix, and all of the problems in Toko Sangre Grande are fixable. But to fix the problems in Toko Sangre Grande, you need a dedicated full-time MP. And that is why other members of parliament might have excuses for not fixing their constituencies because they had heavy ministries. But Mr. Teletubby had no portfolio. He held no ministry for 5 years, and that lazy, clueless man did nothing for 5 years. He has no excuse. Vote him out. His mantra is to his poster. He says he's the right choice. How is he the right choice if he has been failing you for the last 5 years? How all of a sudden he's the right choice? Ladies and gentlemen, what you're going to do with Mr. Teletubby on April 28th? All of a sudden, Mr. Teletubby in overdrive. All of a sudden, Mr. Teletubby is coming to claim that he's the one responsible for putting numbers on homes in the squatting settlements. Ladies and gentlemen, the UNC has never bulldozed any squatter's home at all. Who has the history of bulldozing squatters' homes? Tell me. Less than 6 weeks ago in La Hoqueta, Talparo, there was bulldozing houses. Why they stop? But don't feel longer start back. Less than 2 months ago, they come with a pension bill and say they're taking your pension. You feel longer take it after election? If you put God out your thoughts? Ladies and gentlemen, we have to vote them out. Ladies and gentlemen, I've said it before and I'll say it again. One of the largest squatting settlements in Trinidad and Tobago is in Toko Sangre Grande. A number on a house does not create in law a legitimate expectation that would prevent them from bulldozing your house. What protects you is what the UNC did in 1998 to give you a certificate of comfort. Why after 5 years they couldn't give you a certificate of comfort? How hard it is to give a certificate of comfort? So you ask yourself if they really care about squatters. They have squatted communities, no water, no electricity, no roads, high crime, home invasions, and they tell you that you are illegally squatted. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have a right to any part of the soil that is government soil in Trinidad and Tobago. The existence of squatting means that is a failure of governance to properly plan. Squatting is done out of necessity, not because people want to, but because they have to. So we will fix the roads. We will give the certificates of comfort. We will provide water. We will provide electricity. In the 52 weeks of the year, one road a week in Sangre Grande. Every week we're going to pave a new road in Sangre Grande from Milau to Mora Road to Tattoo Trace. We will pave the roads. Ladies and gentlemen, I went to Northeast Settlement earlier this week, and several people in the community are afraid. They haven't paid their water rates for years. And you know, when you don't pay your water rates, that WASA can come and seize your house. You know that? Do you know that? But these people are getting water bills. These people are getting bills from WASA because they have a connection from WASA. But they have a connection, but they are not getting water. They are not getting water, but they are being charged water rates. And after being charged water rates, they still have to come and pay a truck to deliver water. Is that right? But we're not taking that. What are we going to do on April 28th? Ain't you all here? So, ladies and gentlemen, as the time draws near, I want you all to bow your heads in prayer when you go on election day, because I know for some of you it's very hard, because your mother and your grandmother and your great-grandmother are accustomed voting for the Balize. Let me tell you, Eric Williams dead and gone, and he's not coming back, and he can't do nothing for you. And all your big and has sense. So your grandmother can't beat you with no broad belt if you vote UNC. So when you go into that voting booth, as I close, when you go into that voting booth, I want you to pray Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. When you go into the voting booth and you see the Balize, I want you to bow your head and say Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Let me hear you. Repeat after me. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, and against the rulers of darkness, and the ruler of the PNM, spiritual wickedness in high places. And when you say that prayer, God will deliver you from the evil strangle of the PNM. And the sun will shine on Toko Sangre Grande. Because when UNC wins, everybody wins. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. April 28th, UNC wins, everybody wins.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins.
Toko Sangre Grande. When UNC wins, Toko Sangre Grande win. One thing I can tell you all is that the gentleman that just spoke before you is not collecting no rental for no property from the government. Toko Sangre Grande, this is our time. This is our choice. They are coming to you now and telling you about the next chapter. Ask them about the last 9 chapters that has gone by. What has they done in the last 9 years? Where they're supposed to be coming now and telling you about their achievement, they have no achievements to tell you about, but they're talking about the next chapter. This is our time, Toko Sangre Grande. Kumuto Manzalana, this is our time. When we go to the polls on April the 28th, your vote determines the landscape of Trinidad and Tobago going forward. Brothers and sisters, as I introduce the next speaker, Khadija Amin is the incumbent MP for St. Augustine, shadow for local government, a child of the UNC who has even been placed in handcuffs for defending this party, nominated for a local government councillor at the age of 21 and then elected at age 22. In 2010, she became the youngest chairman of the Tunapuna Piako Regional Corporation. Former Women's Arm Chairman, Deputy Leader, and incumbent Deputy Chair of the UNC, Senator in the 11th Republican Parliament, holds an MBA in the leadership from Anglia Ruskin University and pursuing an LLB with the University of London. Brothers and sisters, Sangre Grande, Toko Sangre Grande, let us welcome our sister Khadija Amin.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Toko Sangre Grande. Kumoto Manzanella. I want to say a special good night to the people of St. Augustine constituency who are here. You know, my brothers and sisters, I look out at this massive crowd. There are people all on the main road, all to the side of us. And I want to tell you, do not make the mistake and doubt the power of the UNC. We are ready to go in government. Are you ready? Are you ready to go in government? My friends, I am usually a very upbeat person, but today was a difficult day for my family and I because we lost a loved one to cancer. My son, many of you know my son's grandmother. The funeral was today, this afternoon, and I came straight from the funeral to come to this meeting. And this was a beautiful, vibrant, God-fearing woman who died of cancer. And knowing her journey, and knowing how many cancer patients I meet within St. Augustine and in other parts of the country, knowing that when the UNC was in government from 2010, a cancer treatment center was designated, and in fact, they turned the sod. And this PNM over the last 10 years, even though they themselves know that cancer is on the rise, they have continued their mismanagement that has caused many cancer patients to not get the drugs that they are supposed to get, and therefore not save people's lives. But you know what? I share this with you tonight, but I know that there are many others, including children, who has lost their lives because of the PNM's mismanagement of the public health system. Do you recall that one of the first acts of Parliament when Kamla Prasad Bisesa became Prime Minister was the Children's Life Fund Act? That was an act that established in law that there be provision for children to have life-saving surgery. And Kamla Prasad Bisesa led by example by giving part of her salary every month towards that Children's Life Fund. But you know what that did? All our ministers did it too, but you know what else that did? That caused corporate Trinidad and Tobago, business entities, to give parts of their profit towards saving children's lives. And what has the PNM done? They have caused babies who needed surgeries to die because they refuse to allow access to this Children's Life Fund. That's the level of wickedness and doke we're dealing with. When we put a Couva Children's Hospital fully equipped, fully staffed, and fully equipped, and all that was left was for it to be staffed and operational, the PNM shut it down. And the only time we knew, Trinidad and Tobago knew that this place had all this equipment is because suddenly during COVID, when it was water more than flour, suddenly the hospital opened and they have all the beds and all the equipment and all the ventilators that was there under Kamla Prasad Bisesa. We must not forget that. And I tell you, tonight I want to share some of the plans that this government has, that the UNC-led government has, to improve the health sector. Our candidate for Kumoto Manzanola, Shivana Sam, I'm so proud of her as a young woman. Give her a round of applause. Our sister Shivana spoke about healthcare and how important it is to have good healthcare in rural communities. And one of the things that the UNC did in the past was extend the opening hours of health centers. So everybody don't have to rush to the emergency and sit down in casualty for hours, daylight coming and meeting you there, and sometimes people end up sleeping on the floor. But there are critical issues that need to fix. We will establish guaranteed maximum waiting time for clinic appointments, diagnostic tests, and surgical procedures. You know, right now, if you're going to the hospital, you're on a list. You're on a list for surgery, you're on a list for tests, but we will ensure that you will wait. The waiting time will not exceed a certain amount of time. In order to do that, we will purchase and maintain modern equipment at all medical facilities. And this will also include having qualified and trained staff to operate the equipment. Because if you have equipment and you don't have people to operate it properly, you are defeating the purpose. I mentioned the Couva Children's Hospital. That Couva Children's Hospital will only become fully functional when the UNC returns to government. In addition to children, the UNC-led government will install a centrally specialized burns unit because that Couva Hospital is close to the Point Lisas Industrial Complex. And this unit will be a part of the Couva Children's Hospital and a multi-training facility. My friends, when you go to the hospitals even now, there are always shortage of medication, shortage of drugs. If you get Panadol, you're lucky. And we must fix the supply chain issues to prevent the shortage of drugs, equipment, and supplies that now hinder the work of our doctors and our nurses at many of our healthcare facilities. We will immediately treat the backlog of patients waiting for critical diagnostic tests and surgeries, including cataract, joint replacement surgeries. All you know, it have people on waiting lists for years to get eye surgery in our hospitals. My brothers and sisters, we will also treat with the chronic non-communicable disease burden that is presently in our nation, and we will reintroduce extended opening hours for health centers, school and home visits within communities. We will introduce legislation to create a unique medical malpractice court and special investigative unit aided by foreign experts to handle suspected medical malpractice cases. This will allow justice for anyone who suffers medical malpractice, because at present, most medical malpractice cases are civil matters. We will also establish a no-fault compensation fund so that affected citizens can receive some of the relief outside of the court. So you don't have to wait for years and years to get a case solved, a civil matter solved, when there is malpractice at our hospitals. You know what that will do? That will incentivize our doctors and our nurses to be more careful with our patients, because every single citizen in this country deserves first-class health care. But you know, our healthcare workers are in the center of the thing, and many of them don't work with nice conditions. One of the things that our government has been, I say in our government, a UNC-led government after the 28th of April, will do is settle negotiations in the health sector for workers and offer better terms and conditions for all doctors, nurses, and other staff. So you will have better salaries, you will have better working conditions, and you will be expected to perform better and give better health care. A government led by Kamla Persad-Bissessar will provide opportunities for funding for doctors and nurses in specialized fields. We must provide the opportunities so that our medical personnel will continue to improve the service that they offer to citizens. They will be more trained and more professional. My brothers and sisters, a government led by the UNC will employ local doctors. Do you know that there are over 200 unemployed, fully qualified doctors in Trinidad and Tobago, young people who graduated from medical school? We will increase the number of doctors in the public health system to achieve the required complement so that all public hospitals and all health centers will increase the number of doctors to the number of patients. So it means that your treatment will be better, your waiting time will be shorter, and they wouldn't have to hurry up when it's your turn. We will employ local nurses. There are an increasing we will increase the number of nurses in the public health system by focusing on training and certification of the nursing programs and the availability of jobs within the public health sector. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if all you know where El Dorado Girls Camp was. The El Dorado Girls Camp was converted to the Nursing and Allied Health Academy under the government led by Kamla Persad-Bissessar in 2010. That facility allowed the graduation of 2,500 nurses every year, in addition to other persons within the health sector. And that would provide nurses to our health centers and our hospitals. You know, when the PNM came, they shut it down. Right now, if you drive by on El Dorado there, the facility is closed. They have all kind of rubbish packed up there. We don't know what they're doing with it. Years now. And that is what they have done. Whereas the UNC government will increase the number of nurses to the number of patients to ensure better health care. We will also employ local technicians and increase the number of cardiovascular, radiographic, and other specialist medical technicians. You tell me that we can't train and employ our young people to do these things? That does two things. Yes, it provides better health care, but it also provides jobs, sustainable jobs, not the 10 days and the CPEP that the PNM is offering, but sustainable jobs and better health care going hand in hand. Many of these measures will allow us to achieve the goal of decreasing the wait times for clinic appointments and surgeries by increasing the nursing staff and the medical doctors in these facilities and in the various departments to reduce the workload for the existing staff. We will train primary care doctors as opposed to specialists. I mentioned specialists. We will also train primary care doctors who will decrease so that we can decrease these non-communicable diseases such as heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, chronic kidney disease, and obesity. We have to ensure that those who are chronically ill are also well taken care of. Do you know how many dialysis patients die in Trinidad and Tobago because they cannot afford the treatment? I keep saying, if we wait for the PNM to save our lives, all are we dead. My brothers and sisters, a UNC government will complete the construction, equipped and fully operationalized dialysis clinics at every single major hospital in Trinidad and Tobago. We will ensure that they have the staff to have 24-hour dialysis. All you hear what I say? 24-hour dialysis. So that the state's bill to the external patient program will be reduced. Because at present, the state can send you to do it privately and the state pay. And we could reduce that bill by at least $100 million per year. You understand what's happening? So that only emergency dialysis cases will be sent to the private practitioners, which the state will pay for. But otherwise, once you have that 24-hour dialysis available throughout the country, you understand how much money we will be saving the state and saving you, the taxpayers. My brothers and sisters, there's so much in public health care that we will do, including ensuring that mental health services will be integrated into our routine health care delivery. Because so many young people and even elderly persons are suffering more and more with anxiety, depression, and other mental health challenges. And we as a society don't always consider mental health as something serious. But as awareness grows, we must ensure that it is part of our comprehensive national plan for public health. So tonight I tell you that you in Sangre Grande, you are part of the solution to Trinidad and Tobago having a better government. Many of the speakers before me pleaded with Toko Sangre Grande. Toko Sangre Grande people in the house, are you ready to make that difference? My friends, I am sure that St. Augustine is UNC and we will win. I am sure of that. When I come on a political platform, I don't even mention these other people who run in for St. Augustine because we know none of them will make a difference. It will be a whitewash, clean sweep for the UNC in St. Augustine. I also want to say that in Kumuto Manzanilla, I have spent some time in Kumuto Manzanilla with our activists. And I know that Shivana Sam will whitewash Kumuto Manzanilla and bring it home. But I can't understand how they could say Sangre Grande is a battleground constituency and they're not sure. I coming up to this meeting tonight and I see these PNM people, no shame, putting a set of red cloth on the roundabout that anti-Kamla bill. Oh, you see that? No shame. We must teach them a lesson. The roundabout and the bypass, the Valencia bypass, was built by a government led by Kamla Persad-Bissessar. There was so much infrastructural development in this part of the country, including development along the coast, that made life better for people who live there, for farmers, for fishermen. And we must remind them that we have not forgotten. I don't know how you could look at Roger Monroe and Wayne Sturge and not be sure. You have before you Toko Sangre Grande, you have a man who has a track record of representation. A man who has stood up for what he believed in Wayne Sturge. When you have a person who has a history of representation, he has a history of representation in the court, but he has also represented in other spaces. So you don't have to wonder if your MP could talk in Parliament. You know Wayne Sturge could go in Parliament and mash them up. When you have a candidate as Wayne Sturge, you are sure you will get a member of Parliament who is vocal, who could speak for himself, so that when they are on a walkabout, a newly appointed political leader don't have to push him aside and answer the question for him because he can't talk for himself. My brothers and sisters, you have before you chalk and cheese. And therefore, in Toko Sangre Grande, there is no doubt, there is no battleground, there is no if, but, or maybe, there is one sure result. And we must ensure that that is Wayne Sturge being victorious on election day. But I tell you this, I have been an MP for St. Augustine in opposition, and we have worked very hard. Many people come to us, not only UNC people, many people come to us, and seeing the condition that our country has come to, it means that it's not enough for Khadija Amin to win St. Augustine or Shivana Sam to win Kumoto. It means that every single person in Trinidad and Tobago's life depends on UNC winning government. Are you ready to win government? Are you ready? Sangre Grande, are you ready for Kamla Prasad Bisesa to return as Prime Minister? I want to make a special appeal at this time to our young people. There are young people in this election who will make a difference. There are people who were born in PNM till our dead house. Their mother or father is PNM till our dead, and they make them vote PNM when they turn 18. But you know what? Those children from the PNM till our dead house, they are grown and thinking on their own. When they look around, they will ask mommy or daddy, what has PNM done for you? Our brother who is now the chairman of Toko Sangre Grande told you, he came from a PNM family, but when you have a generation who is thinking and seeing what makes sense, there is no other choice than to vote for the United National Congress. And so, when we walk the campaign trail, we will see many people who we might be surprised because we know them as PNM, and we are seeing them when we walk. And I am telling you, we must welcome them with open arms because it means that their eyes have now been opened. They are now seeing the light of the rising sun, and they are ready to return the UNC to government and Kamla Prasad Bisesa as Prime Minister. So tonight, in all that we shared with you, in as much as this meeting is full of energy and full of vibes, we must remember that this is a serious, serious situation we face. On April 28th, it really is life or death. That is what it is. It is life or death for our children who will either get surgery from the Children's Life Fund or die. It is life or death for our young people who are facing the criminal elements and could be one of the hundreds of people murdered, or life for them. For our older persons who are receiving pension, It could mean no pension if you have $25,000 in the bank, or pension under a government led by Kamla Persad-Bissessar. That is what we face. So, my friends, even for our businesses, our workers, you might feel because you don't own a business that the economy of Trinidad and Tobago may not be important to you. But recovering the economy and stimulating the economy is how Kamla Persad-Bissessar will provide over 50,000 jobs for you. And therefore, that is what rests on us on the 28th. That is what stands before us, a bleak future, or a future well lit by the rising sun. That is what we face. So when we look at our teenagers who are finishing school, do we want them to finish school with qualifications and not get a job? Or do we want them to be one of 50,000+ people who will get jobs created by Kamla Persad-Bissessar? Which one do we want? So, my brothers and sisters, I am delighted to come tonight because I look across this crowd and I see people from Valencia, people from Sangre Grande, people from Kunaripo, people from, Kumuto, Tamana. I know some of the faces and I am so happy to see you. And I realized that we had a little drizzle and it didn't stop anybody. Nobody moved. And this is a packed bumper crowd here tonight. So we are well on the way to victory. And I say to you, let us take our time and bring it home. Our battle is a battle to rescue Trinidad and Tobago, because when the UNC wins, everybody wins. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins.
Thank you very much, Sister Khadija Amin. And I want us to pay specific attention when Khadija MP for St. Augustine spoke about the youths and the plans for the youths that this government has waiting for you all. I want, before we leave here tonight, to remind you guys of Sangre Grande. It was under this political leader, the Prime Minister of today, when he was then Minister of Energy, that he left the 4 divers to die over 3 days in the pipeline. One of those divers was one of our very own from right here in Sangre Grande. Brothers and sisters, Stuart Richard Young was responsible for the death of Yusuf Henry. No apologies for saying that. Brothers and sisters, before we leave tonight, we have some live entertainment for you all. We have another youth from our community right here in Sangre Grande, Mr. Reuben, who will be performing for us here live this evening. And as the meeting comes to a close, I invite you all, we have some light refreshments to the end of the tent on that side. You all can partake. I want to thank this evening the members of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service for gracing us with their presence here tonight. Of course, I want to thank Mr. Tank and his team, engineering team, the infrastructural team, for all that they have done for this evening proceedings. I thank you, the loyal supporters of the United National Congress, and I remind you on April the 28th, when we go to the polls, vote solidly, vote for the United National Congress, a party that will deliver to you with a political leader who cares for you. Thank you, my brothers and sisters.
Everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
DJ, when you're ready, you can have the track for Reuben.
Yeah. Sangre Grande, all the feeling. We're doing this one for the rising sun, right? Love in the house, love in the house, love in the house. Hey! Struggle is a way of life for most of us these days. Listen. Murders every day and night, so no, we don't feel safe. Yet, 10 years gone and no betterment. It's time for a change of government. The best choice for you and me is to vote for the UNC. Listen, cause when the UNC wins, everybody wins. We need to make our country safer. The time is now. Right now. Cause when the UNC wins, everybody wins. Let's stand up for our future with KPB and the UNC. Every day we watch and wait to see what happens next. And every day things escalate and we feel the effects. Why? Retrenchment spread like bushfire, and the murder rates getting higher now. On April 28th, let's make a change. BNM must get fired. Cause when the UNC wins, everybody wins. We need to make our country safer. The time is now. Right now. Cause when the UNC wins, everybody wins. Let's stand up for our future. Let me talk to you. I don't know what to make of it. Like we've become a dictatorship. The people don't have a say no more. We have lost our way for sure. Now we have an opportunity to bring back safety and tea. So let's vote for a leader who loves this country. Why? Cause when the UNC wins, everybody wins. We need to make our country safer. The time is now. Right now. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. So come on, let's stand up for our future. So I'm doing this one for Savannah. I'm doing this one for Wayne Sturge. I'm doing this one for KPB. Coming up beside Bissessa. One KPB, right? I'm doing this to all of us. Because I come like a soldier on the front right now. Give me the next one, DJ. I love how you're doing it. Yeah, man. I roll with Wayne Sturge. Yo, Wayne. Philip, big up yourself. Respect, brethren.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can build, place your ex by the rising sun. If you want leaders who can lead properly, place your ex by the rising sun. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Vote for peace. Vote for love. Vote for hope. Vote for change. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can restore hope, place your ex by the rising sun. If you want leaders who lead with love, place your ex by the rising sun. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. When UNC wins, everybody.
Hi, my name is Hannah Henry, and at the age of 12 years old, I passed for Bishop Anstey High School. At the time, I didn't have access to a laptop, and my mom couldn't afford it. But thankfully to the UNC government, I was able to have access to one, and it was so much easier to not have to worry about sending in my assignments on time. And I'm so grateful Thanks, Auntie Cams. When UNC wins, everybody wins.
I retired in 2002. When I retired, my pension was $1,000 from NIS. When Mr. Bissessar came into power in 2010, my pension rose to $3,000. Now I'm hearing PNM say, if you have money saved, they could take away your pension. I can't wait to vote UNC again. When UNC wins, senior citizens like myself win.
My son Josiah, when he was born, he was diagnosed with a life-threatening disease. And a friend told me about the Children's Life Fund. Thanks to Kamala and the UNC government for making it happen. He was given a second chance in life, and now he's in Form 5 and he's able to sit CXC. Take it from me, when UNC wins, everybody wins.
Hi, my name is Hannah Henry, and at the age of 12 years old, I passed for Bishop Anstey High School. At the time, I didn't have access to a laptop, and my mom couldn't afford it. But thankfully to the UNC government, I was able to have access to one, and it was so much easier to not have to worry about sending in my assignments on time. And I'm so grateful. Thanks, Auntie Cams. When UNC wins, everybody wins.